This photograph shows the photographer F.W. Thiel in the front seat of the aeroplane with his camera, which was specially fitted up for the purpose, ready for the flight. In the rear seat is Flight Commander F.R. Smith, MC, DFC. Starting from Lytton, the plane ascended to a height of nearly 2,000 feet, and made for the city, which was reached in about 5 minutes. While circling over the city, operations were commenced. To obtain the photographs, the photographer F.W. Thiel had to practically stand up in the machine, while at the same time, Captain Smith, with splendid judgment, banked the machine almost onto its side. During the flight, 8 plates were exposed, and the plane was headed back for Lytton, where it arrived 40 minutes after its departure. This photo shows the city proper, as seen from a point above New Farm. The full length of Queen Street stretches along the left margin, with the Custom House in the foreground, and the extreme end of Victoria Bridge in the background. Next to the right comes Adelaide Street, then Ann Street, with the central station showing in the centre. Wickham Terrace forks off to the right of the station, and winds its sinuous way up the hill past the observatory, leaving Wickham Park and the Roma Street Railway Market Sheds on the left. The white roadway, running diagonally across the right corner, is Boundary Street, and Leichhardt Street branches off from it in a curve to the left. The first street running across the picture is Wharf Street. It is visible running from Queen Street up to Leichhardt Street. The street running up at the far end of the station is Edward Street. Following this is Albert Street. Then comes Roma Street, branching off from Ann Street and running past the markets. The Brisbane River is also visible in the top left-hand corner. Another view of the city is presented in this photograph. It was taken from a point about over the South Brisbane coal wharves and River Terrace. Victoria Bridge appears in the foreground to the left, with the government offices flanking it on the right. The new Savings Bank building being especially prominent by reason of its height. A little further to the right is Perry Brothers' tall building, at the corner of Albert and Elizabeth Streets, and the flat roof of the stadium is visible close by. George Street and Albert Street are leading features in this view, and the extensive produce sheds in the neighborhood of the Roma Street railway station bulk largely on the left. The Courier building rears its massive proportions near the right center, and near it the narrow frontage of the Kodak buildings rears its 6 stories. Further back is the central station with the broad expanse of Upper Edward Street to the left running up onto Wickham Terrace. This view was taken from above Spring Hill, and embraces the northern portion of the city, the whole of the New Farm Pocket, the tongue of Kangaroo Point, and the Brisbane River, from the Garden Reach down to Hawthorn, a distance of about 3 miles. The bend of the river is clearly shown, as it winds round Kangaroo Point and New Farm Pocket. Norman Creek is also visible at the top right-hand corner of the picture. Leichhardt Street runs along the foreground. The white roadway branching off from it is Boundary Street, which runs through the center to the wharves at Circular Quay. Wharf Street also branches off in this vicinity, and runs down to Queen Street. The wharves are clearly discernible as they stretch from the Custom House round to New Farm. The Custom House is also visible. All Hallows Convent and St Anne's School are to be seen at the back of Howard Smith's wharves. The large clear space in the distance is New Farm Park, with its circular white pathway showing up brilliantly. The sugar refinery and the New Farm wharves lie to the left of this. Beyond are the heights of Galloway's Hill and Hawthorn on the other side of the river. South Brisbane is seen in this picture. The pocket occupied by the Domain forms the foreground, and beyond the river is the dry dock, with a steamer in it undergoing an overhaul. A steamer is visible travelling up the river towards the Victoria Bridge, and a large steamer is also seen at Burt and Company's wharf. The railway wharves fill in the left section of the picture, while the commanding position of St Lawrence's School, Kumbukweppa, and the South Brisbane Town Hall on the heights of Vulture Street make them conspicuous objects in the landscape. The South Brisbane Technical College and the Fire Brigade Station also stand out clearly. Vulture Street runs diagonally through the view, and is intersected by Hope Street from the left. Running from the river in order from the left, are Dock Street, Tribune Street, Sidon Street, and Russell Street. A portion of the Queensland University and the Central Technical College buildings are visible in the bottom right-hand corner. This photograph embraces the residential portion of Fortitude Valley, lying to the north of Brunswick Street with Stratton and Tenerife. In the immediate foreground is Ann Street, and a little beyond it near the centre, is St Patrick's Church and the adjoining playground. In the distance to the left are the Bulimba wharves and sheds, with the Brisbane River running through the corner of the picture. Brunswick Street stretches from the front to the back of the view on the right, with James Street parallel to it a little to the left of the centre. Then comes Wandoo Street and Chester Street running parallel with James Street. The streets running parallel with the picture from front to rear are Ann Street, Windmill Street, John Street, Jane Street, Arthur Street, Harcourt Street, Kent Street, Terrace Street, Heel Street, Annie Street, Brown Street, and Villiers Street. Then comes Merthyr Road, which is just visible at the top center of the picture, running down to the river. This picture has in the foreground the Roma Street railway yards with Victoria Park on the left, and Wickham Park on the right. Roma Street railway station is very conspicuous near the centre foreground. The full length of Wickham Terrace is visible winding round and passing the observatory, which is near the centre of the right-hand side of the picture. Gregory Terrace is conspicuous with its winding roadway, starting from the Boys' Grammar School, passing the Girls' Grammar School, and running round to the Gympie Road. Running parallel with it is the railway line through Victoria Park to the Wool Stores. The Gympie Road will be seen running out near the top left-hand corner. Breakfast Creek is also prominent here with its zigzag formation. The centre of the view is occupied by Spring Hill, and in the distance is Newstead and the Brisbane River, with Breakfast Creek and the nearer slopes of the Hamilton to the left. Albion Park Racecourse and Bulimba Point are also visible. This view includes the General Hospital, the railway sheds at Main Junction, the exhibition, and the Bulimba Gasworks. In this picture the main feature is the northern part of Ascot Racecourse, with the stables in the nearer corner. The railway line and Doomben station are also visible in the front section of the picture. The line crosses the Nudgee Road, and runs past the stables. The clear space in the top right-hand corner is a portion of Doomben, where aerial experiments have been carried out. In the foreground is the suburb of Winstaines, and the Nudgee Road runs through the centre of the view, and is conspicuous by its straight formation. The stands at Ascot are outside the left margin, part of the lawn being just visible. The first road running off Nudgee Road to the left is Lancaster Road. The first running to the right is Jackson Street, with Lamington Avenue on the other side of the railway line. Running parallel with the Nudgee Road at the front of the picture is Winchester Road, Oxford Street, and Windsor Street, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. On the other side of the railway line are Brassey Street and Hopetown Street, with Hampton Street bounding them in the middle distance. Running along the top is Manson Road, and Kitchener Road is seen running across the top left-hand corner. This photograph includes the neighborhood of Albion and Wooloowin, looking towards the Kedron Park racecourse, which shows near the middle distance. The Magdalen Asylum is the large square patch in the center. In the foreground in the left-hand corner is the Sandgate Road and Albion Railway Station. The railway line can be seen running through the picture between Hudson Road and Albion Street to Wooloowin Station. Branching off Albion Street, in the center of the picture, and running past the Holy Cross School is Chalk Street, which runs up and joins the Gympie Road. Moving off from Chalk Street, near the center of the picture, and running towards Kedron Park, is the Kedron Park Road, which stands out prominent, and eventually joins onto the Gympie Road. The meandering thoroughfare running past Kedron Park into the distance is the Gympie Road. Branching off from the Gympie Road a little past Kedron Park, and running out to the left, is the Stafford Road. On the near side of Kedron Park, and branching off the Kedron Park Road, is Kent Road, which runs out on the right-hand side of the picture towards Eagle Junction.